Cool. First, thank you so much for inviting me. I am super excited to be here. I'm going to share some tools that I have been using in the latest years, and I hope we can take advantage of this. And again, thank you. Super exciting. Yeah, the name of this talk is Data-Centric AI and Open Source Tools for Impactful Research. Just to double check, everyone can hear me correctly? I can see some people. Yeah, cool. Perfect. It's going to be around 45 minutes, 1 hour workshop. That is why if you have any question, I can see some of you. You just can raise your hand and I can answer any question. Um, Today I decided to bring three main ideas. The first one is going to be how we should be focused more in data-centric AI. The second one is going to be more focusing tools that you can use to understand your data, how you can make visualization, how you can find bias, how you can improve the accuracy of your model based on data quality. And the number three is going to be more focusing how we can increase the visibility of our research using open source tools. And I would like to start with that. I would like to start with some numbers behind the AI research. And I think all of you know that AI is growing super fast. It's crazy the amount of paper that every day arrive and every day new research are creating. Just in 2023, there were more than 3.3 million paper in science and engineering. And just talking in 2024 in archive, there are more than 58,000 new papers in AI, and this is like 31% of increasing if you compare to last year. And for me, it's like, oh my god, it's crazy, super fast. New researchers are moving faster. We have to as well make a smart solution, a smart movement. We have to make our research more accessible to everybody. And usually when we try to do that, we go to big conference like CBPR. I already met some of you in CBPR this year. Super excited to be here again, like now speaking, as a speaker. But yeah, it's the number of papers that are accepted to this big conference is very small, like 20%, and for our presentation is less than 3.3 or 5% in CBPR, in EURIPS, in big conference. And if we talk about, like, we spend months, like multiple months, trying to do a good research, and then if like the people cannot know about our project, it's going to be a problem. And 90% of the paper are cited less than 10 times, and 28% of the paper are never cited at all. Like, we spend time and our paper is not getting the visibility that we want. Um, that's why I decided to combine this talk with something that I have been using, as I said before, but in the same time with something that I believe you can use to increase the visibility of your research, that is FiftyOne. We are going to have time to discuss more about what is FiftyOne, but in general, I believe that this could be a way that you can put your research as a plugin and make it like a plug and play solution for companies, other researchers, for like people that want to work in computer vision, in AI in general, and that can use your research. This is two examples that we are going to navigate today. Um, but yeah, I would like to intro about me. As Karen said, I am Alo, I am an intern. That's the most important thing in CAUS. I am working with Carlos and Karen in some of a new state-of-the-art data set that is going to help people that works in rate identification, people that work in BLMs, focusing multi-view understanding, and people that works as well in open set retrieval task. But beside an intern, I am research assistant at University of Cincinnati. I am not yet machine learning at Voxel 51, and this like this kind of talk was before I know that I'm going to join 51. That is why there is some bias, but actually I create this before know that I'm going to join 51. Um, and as well, I have some courses in Platzi. Platzi like a Coursera platform, but from Latinos, from Spanish speakers. I have two courses there, and I really love communities. That is why when Karen told me about the option to be here and present some of the things that I have been doing, I say, yeah, let's do it. Okay, three main goals. First, the idea of data-centric AI as a key when we want to create successful computer vision projects. Second one, we are going to go hands-on. If you have your computer, you can use it. You don't have to. I know that you are in lunch, you are having lunch, and it's fine. but all the resources are going to be available for you. You can go later, you can use it, and you can start to take advantage of this in your research. And the last one, but I start with some metrics about this. It's I would like to show you a way that you can integrate your models, techniques, workflows, benchmark directly to the FiftyOne ecosystem to be able to take advantage of the platform. And open source tools in general are amazing to show results, to show algorithms, and I think we have to take advantage of that as our researchers. Okay, traditional common points that the people have when they has a model-centric approach. Usually, something that I didn't say before, but I have the experience to create a company from zero, like going to the market, put it in production, all the things that can happen when you put a product in like a model in production. All of these kind of things happen because the model-centric approach is focusing get data, train the model, deploy the model, and then just put it on production. And usually this data can have multiple bias. You are as a researcher know that, but issues, for example, can confuse like animals with humans. You all the new kind of automatic vehicles, that can have some problem because now they are in the physical world. It's more like a body AI. It's like moving in the real world, and that could be dangerous. And as well, a small thing like a false positive can affect the process, can affect any workshop. That is why I believe that traditional model-centric approach should be changed, and we should focus more in a more like a data-centric approach. I know that you know these two papers, but just to mention, Clip, amazing paper. They show that if you apply some prompt engineering and assembly techniques, you can improve zero-shot accuracy in almost 5%. Just making small things like adding an image of and then the object, or applying some different techniques that could help to improve to increase the accuracy in your model. And this is another amazing paper from NVIDIA that is NVIDIA, and they applied a new delta loss as a way to increase the like you have a data set and you want to just focus in the good quality, in the good data set. You apply this delta loss to remove 50% of the data and still getting good accuracy. That I think it's super nice. If I remember correctly, they use two models, a big one and a small one. Then they make the prediction, the inference, and then if the model predict exactly the same, that means that the class, that specific image is not contributing a lot to the model. And for that reason, maybe we cannot use that specific example. And then when the big model, make a good inference, the small one make it incorrectly, we can say that this example is super nice and we should include it directly to our model. But this kind of papers that is not focused in like data quality, they are focused in other things, but they just show in a small part of the paper that if you focus in your data, if you take advantage of tools that can help you to understand your data, you are going to have better results. And this is like one of the main ideas that I would like that you have. I don't want to like you take the decision to go to data-centric AI, but I think that we should, as a researchers, focus more in the quality of the data. And I know that you know this because you have one of the best data sets around the world, like SoccerNet, like ActivityNet, like all of these kind of data sets. It's changing the way that the things works and helps many researchers. But I think quality in data is key. And that's the goal of FiftyOne. FiftyOne, it's focusing in understand the data, more a visual AI approach where you can apply multiple techniques to not only use the data, but in the same time, understand what is happening with your data. And in this workshop, this is just like an intro. In this workshop, we are going to navigate in that. We are going to focus in these tools. Super short, what is FiftyOne? You can create, visualize, analyze workshops, analyze that data set. Sorry, you can streamline annotations directly in your like from your code, from your data set. You can make inference. You can find and fix labeling mistakes. You can as well find model issues as well. Like my model is not performing good with a specific class. there is kind of bias in that class. Like all of this kind of understanding of your data set, you can make it here in FiftyOne. Multiple tasks, just to mention classification, detection, segmentation. I know that some of you work with video understanding, like all of these kind of things can be performance directly here in FiftyOne. And as I said before, this is more like a hands-on. If you have, you can take a picture, but as I said before, these slides are going to be available for you. You just have to open this. And I prepared this just for you. Let me just move it here. This is a GitHub. It's of course open, and it has like a small hands-on experience iterating in all the platform of FiftyOne, going from load the data, perform some machine learning task, apply some visualization with embeddings. I create a tool that I think could be useful for you, how to do like ablation studies easier and create a LaTeX table to put it in your overleaf, like kind of small tools that I think could be useful for your research. And everything is here. If you clone your project and you open it, I have here. Can you see my other screens? Like, or it's just, can you see my full screen? The full computer? Yes, okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, let me go here. If you open, you are gonna have this, and as I said before, you can run this now, you can run this later, it's fine. But yeah, this is going to be the workshop that we are gonna see. Uh, the first thing that I would like to mention is data. Like there are multiple kind of data that you can use. Many of you can use image, video, point cloud generator. If we are working with Gaussian splatting, with NERF, with like any kind of source of data, you can put it directly in FiftyOne. That's why the first topic is going to be data sets, how we can use any data sets. And before going to the data sets and the code, I would like to explain something that it's important to know. FiftyOne works in the two sides of research of developers. There are some developers as me like to create the code directly, like go to the Visual Studio Code or Cursor or whatever and write the code directly and then see it in a platform. For this kind of research, you can use the SDK where you can load the data. In this example, this is only 4 lines, and you are importing FiftyOne, and you are importing FiftyOne with Hugging Face, and you can load any data set that is in a specific format to FiftyOne with just 1 line, and then just launch the app. That is going to be all the platform where you can visualize your data. We are going to see it in action, but just to let you know. How is the architecture of FiftyOne? We have backend, we have frontend as a normal architecture. The backend handle all the dataset storage, indexing, queries. The frontend is more for user experience. But at the end, you are going to have a full ecosystem of data where you are going to have your example, your data set with all the metadata that you want to have. You are going to have embeddings and features where you can perform tasks like similarity search, feature vectors, and more. You are going to have the annotations of your data, bounding box segmentation, maybe it's a specific classification with just one class, and then you are going to have your prediction. Because FiftyOne handle everything like that, you can start to make comparison, you can start to make multiple tasks directly in your data. I'm gonna show you this directly there. That's why let's go to the code. And I forget to mention something super important. One of the members of FiftyOne is here, Paula. In case as well there is any question, she's going to be ready to help me. And Paula, thank you for the support to help me with all of this workshop. Okay, let's go to the code. Yeah, let me put it bigger. I think it's going to be better. Let me just move here. Cool. First things, just import simple libraries, FiftyOne. We are going to use PyTorch in multiple models. We are going to use Hugging Face, and we are going to use UMAP. UMAP is going to be for dimensionality, reduced dimensionality for something that I'm going to show you later. But for now, the most important one is FiftyOne, PyTorch, and Hugging Face, because we can load some data from Hugging Face as well. Some models, if your model is in Hugging Face, You don't have to do any integration. You can handle your model and put it directly here. And this is like the main functions in FiftyOne, like load the zoo. That is, we have, oh, I don't know if you see cursor, but cursor sometimes it's, oh, I think it's fine if you don't hear it. Okay, cool. Yeah, you hear it? No. Okay. Okay. I think I have to reduce this a little bit. Uh, but yeah, you have the models where you can, we have a big zoo that contains models from multiple researchers. I think here is one of the opportunities that I believe it's interesting. You already have your model. We can put it in FiftyOne as a model, and many people can start to access this model for evaluation studies, for reference, for like more for inference, more than for training, because your GitHub is going to be for all the training and all the process. This is going to be more like an inference setup for other researchers and companies that want to take advantage of your code. But yeah, we have Hugging Face as well, and some brains tools that I'm going to show you later, and operators that we are going to use for FiftyOne. First task, just load the data. In this case, as you can see, only 2 lines. The first one is to load the data from Hugging Face. Here it's an anomaly detection data set with some kind of, because I already run this, I have to upgrade my data set, like a small kind of configuration, nothing weird. And then we just have to define which data set we want to display and just run it directly here. That is going to run, that is going to create your, it's going to launch FiftyOne. And then you can see it here, but it's going to be super small. It's going to be better if I just open it here. Let me move this, localhost 51. I don't know if is there any questions so far, but I think we are starting. I think, oh, no, there is no question. Okay, now you can see your data set. This could be your specific data set. This is just an example with an anomaly data set. You can see all your examples here. The interesting thing that we are going to explore is you can apply some filters, you can apply some, you can start to see more your data and details. For example, in the left side, you have like a menu where you can go to the defects that you have in your data set. You can go to categories. You can open a specific category, let's say pills, and you can see in more detail what kind of data do you have. And as this could be like a small data set of 1,000 images, or could be a million data set, like the size of the data set. It's fine. The idea is to have a place where you can handle everything in one place. This is working in local. You don't have to share your data set with anybody. You can just pip install FiftyOne, look, open it with your data set as I showed you before, and you can start to get all of this visualization. You can navigate, you can see some labels, not only in the category, in the defects as well. For example, defects of combined, or defects of colors, like this. You can get all the metadata of the image. You can start to explore more your data. As I said before, this is a specific data set more for classification tasks, where you can see all the anomalies, but you can apply here segmentation of the image to find, for example, what is the specific place of the defect based on a simple sum segment anything model. I think could work here. But all of this is to show you that you can handle everything, in this case images, in your FiftyOne account directly in local, just with a couple of lines. You don't have to load the dataset from FiftyOne, from Hugging Face. Sorry, you can load from your local computer. You don't have to change the paths and make a small kind of pre-processing. That is super simple to do. And I'm gonna leave in all the talks some resources that you can explore as well. But yeah, this is like the first task. Just load a data set of image, and that's all. But I know that some of you works with video. That is why the 2 next lines are focused in a specific data set that has video as an input. As you can see, it's the same. Just have to define from the zoo, that we are gonna see it in the next slide, which video do you want to have. ActiveNet, it's here as well. ActivityNet, sorry. And you can load the data set, put it in the FiftyOne account, and start to get some metrics. It's going to be very similar. I can open it here as well. You can see the cars. You can play the video. Just going down here, and you can start to see all the predictions in this case from this specific data set. Uh, and here we are not putting any like kind of inference. We are just seeing our data. Like we are able to see our data multiple format. There is another one that I want to show you because I know that some people are working with point clouds. You can put your point cloud here, images, point cloud, everything in one place. Like see when you move something, how it's moving the other sides, and find bias, just making some visual human checking. But as well, there are some automatic tasks that I'm gonna show you in the next task. Um, yeah, you can just as well see data sets. This is quick start groups. Let me just reload. Quick start group is here. Now you have a point cloud data set. Let me just move here. You can start to see your data. And sometimes it's funny because sometimes you say, but what are you gonna need this? But I'm gonna tell you a specific case of use that I have with Carlos and Karen, where we need to understand our embeddings. And when I saw the embeddings in FiftyOne, like all of this kind of putting in a specific space, and I understand why the model was not doing a good clustering. That's why sometimes just see your data in one place, everything in one place. It's make it easier to understand what is happening, and sometimes find a book or find why your model is not performing better. But here we have a different source of data that is point clouds. Right now we are creating more. If you are working with a specific medical image, if you are working with a specific, we are integrating all of the most useful source of data or type of data to make it easy to just use it and integrate it in FiftyOne. But yeah, this is like that was the first task. Like just load a data set, super simple, and see the data. Like 2 lines of code, no more. But the interesting thing here is okay. Let's perform some tasks, and there are multiple tasks that you can do. The first one that I want to show you is exploring the embeddings. Uh, because if you explore in the embedding, if you put all of these kind of image as an embeddings, you can start to find overlap in similarities. You can start to find maybe some uh, examples that are isolated to the main classes. You can as well do some clustering. And as you can see here, it's just 1 line of code that is compute visualization. It's with this, you have to define first, of course, the data set. You have to define the name of the key that is going to have for the embeddings. For the embedding, you can use your own model. You can use Clip. You can use any model that you feel and you think is better. And then you have the method. As I said before at the beginning, we use UMAP to reduce the dimensionality and to make it easier to visualize. And you can as well define the number of, in this case, 2D to be able to understand more your data. And let's go to see it in code. It's going to be better. Here I load Clip. As I said before, you can load your own model. If you have a model that is creating embeddings, you can load it here, and you can compute the visualization. And then you just can understand your data. I'm gonna show you just in a second. But in the meantime, that this is loading, I would like to tell you a specific case because maybe that it's something that you are working on and can help you. With Carlos and Karen, we were working in like do the first step of the leveling process. That is, you have to take the data set, do a semi-automatic leveling, and sometimes it's hard because the model that if you are creating a new state of the data set is because you find something that is not working fine. In this case, when you have multiple cameras and you want to like more real environment like a mall, like a physical store like a mall, and you try to do re-identification, they didn't work. And you can see here on the right, it's super mixed, everything it's not really good. And the thing that I did here, and you can do as well, was I test multiple models. We test Dino with the OCX. This is a really good one. It was with Trans ID. And as you can see here, you can start to see like, oh, this is a better clustering. We are having better, like, it's more, at least it's more like the classes are more separate. Here you can see that it's harder to find here as well. But allow us to put multiple models clustering, like in this case, multiple models that can create embeddings in one place, and then start to compare which one is better, and then do the clustering. We try like for a couple of days, multiple clustering techniques, thinking that the problem was the clustering, but actually the problem was how we represent the data. And so I know that maybe it's obviously because you have to test multiples one, but when you see it like this, it's easier to understand which model is understanding more your data, and as well, which data has some bias. As you saw in one part of the video, there was like a car of a baby, and it was trying to put it as a human, and it was creating a class of a human. I can just remove that class if I am able to see it as a defect or as an anomaly. And this is part of the thing that I would like to show you that you can integrate directly in your research. Is there any question so far? I can see some of you. All good? No questions? Okay. Here is still working. It's making this like doing the inference of like clip in all the data sets, and as well it's applying it's reducing the dimensionality to be able to give a better representation of the data. In the meantime, I can talk you really quick about task. That now we already saw some of like loading the data, making some embeddings, computing some embeddings to see your data in action, like see all the data that you are getting and like find some bias in your data. But now we are gonna perform task. In this case, I decided to do like object detection task, a simple task, but you can do classification, segmentation, you can do with video as well. You can apply some techniques to find specific actions in the video. You can like all of these kind of tasks could be performance here, uh, as a simple to load the model, apply model, define what is going to be the label where you are going to save the predictions, and then you can apply classification of detection, segmentation, and zero shot classification. At the beginning of the talk, I told you about how we can make the model more visible to everybody, to everyone. I feel that this is one of the places that you can take advantage because this is open source. This is just for community. This is just for help more people, and you can put your own model, uh, as I did with some example in the next slides, and you can make it available to everyone just with one line of code. Like if you create a new state-of-the-art model, you can integrate it here. The people can start to use it. FiftyOne has a really big scope of developers that is working on that is using these tools. That is why it could be a good way to show your results and to show your model, and that people can take advantage of that, like use it for a good things. Uh, I think it finished. Yes, let me just load this to show you. This is the visualization. You can see that it runs here, all the inference, everything in one place, just with some of the brains tools that is compute visualizations of FiftyOne. And if we go to this to FiftyOne, and we just open, in this case, I think I run it with Coco, or no, which one I run? Let me see. I run it with Anomaly. Sorry. If we run it with Anomaly, that is this one. Yeah. You can just go to the here, and this is recording. That's why it's going to be easier to navigate it. And you can go to embeddings. Then you can put all of them like just next to the other one, and you can select the embedding that you want to see. And you can start to see your data. Like you can go here, you can select your class. This is a leader. You can see the classes. You can find some that are alone. This is a specific dot brush. This is another class. And everything is like based on you are like putting the base. You can just make a clustering. It's not a clustering, you just can use colors to be able to understand the labels. And you can see all the labels here. For example, this label is super far from the other class. You can see that the representation, the embedded representation of that specific example is super far from the other one. You can see as well here, for example, you have your data, but you have this one that is far from the original one. because it has a bias. You can apply clustering here. It's going to be much easier. You can see that it's better. It's super separated and it's simple to see it. And you can do this with all your data set in a simple way. Cool. Okay, we already applied some compute embeddings, and we say that we would like to apply some specific tasks like object detection. Let's go to the code. I'm going to explain you how you can do that. In the presentation, you saw that I just create one line that is apply model. In this case, I'm going to load a new data set that is going to be Coco 2017. You can route any model that you want. I bring here 3 models that for me was like interesting. The first one is faster RCNN, like a classical approach of convolutional neural networks. And I just load the model. As I said before, this could be your model, just one line, and then make the prediction and save it in prediction faster RCNN. I decided to bring a more approach that is more from the transformer architecture. In this case, the ETR. Same, just load the model, apply the model, and I bring YOLO, like the other side of kind of models, really good one for production. Many people use YOLO in production environments, and as well apply the prediction. And then I can just launch the app. It's already there. I just gonna wait because this is going to take a couple of minutes to run because it's running 3 models, but it's super fast at the end. It's the time that the model takes to do the inference. But in the meantime, I would like to show you the model zoo. The model zoo is like a place where we have all the models of FiftyOne, but you can as well integrate your models from GitHub or other URLs. If you have your model, you have to put it in a specific format, something not really complicated. I can explain you if you want to do it after the meeting, like during the week. And you can load your model and put it accessible to everyone. I'm just going to open to show you some of the models that we have right now. There are many. Retina, RexNet, RTDTR, like in general, like TensorFlow has multiple ways to load it, transformers. We have some embeddings, the YOLO, the zero shot. Like you just have to go to the code and you are gonna find that the way to load it is simple. And that's why I think that's why the people like this, because it's just like a plug and play solution. And for researchers that want to, for example, I feel that this is gonna help me a lot in ablation studies. If I want to perform inference for a specific data set that I have, and I need to do it with 5 specific models, I can load the models here, I can run the inference, and I can get the metrics that I need and put it in a table and compare with my results. Or if you are creating a new state-of-the-art data set, it's exactly the same. If you are doing a benchmark, it's exactly the same. It's like useful for that reason. Yeah, let me just go to the code to see what is happening. Right now it's running RTDTR, and yeah, it's just loading this. Cool. I didn't see any questions. Yeah. I just want to keep like you already did the inference. Let's say that you have the model's prediction. You want to put it in a specific format. For me, as I said before, like the idea of ablation studies, it's sometimes you have to do it, and sometimes can take too much time. This could be a solution. FiftyOne has something that is evaluate detection, where you can define what kind of key you want to measure, like what kind of metrics is important for you. We are working all the time to integrate new metrics to your data set, to FiftyOne, excuse me. But you can, in this case, object detection, you can apply some traditional accuracy, or if it's object detection, you can apply some techniques to find overlap, like IOU, intersection over union, like all the metrics that you need, that you want to put in your research. You can define it here, and you can make it accessible and put it in the evaluation. In this specific case, I run evaluate detection for faster RCNN. I define what is the ground truth to evaluate this, and then I can just visualize it. In this case, that wasn't a specific case of use. I would like to understand how is the performance of my model for each of the classes, the top, in this case, the top 10 classes, I would like to see the results. And because I already run evaluate detection, you can get the results. You can apply some Python simple techniques like count the number of labels that you have, sorted to have the top 10 labels, and then just create a report where you can see the precision recall F1 score for each of the classes. You can see, for example, maybe some classes that are not really good in precision, but recall is good. Like if your most important metric is recall, you can start to see all of these kind of metrics directly in one place. You can get some average precision, and take advantage of the results. Here is still loading, I think. Now we are in the last model. Oh, I think it's finished. Oh yeah, let me go now to this data set. I think I create a new one. Let me check. Yes, I think I create a new one. That is, oh, dataset anomaly. Oh yeah, Coco 2017. Let me just go here. We are going to load Coco 2017. Coco 2017. Yeah. And this is something interesting because you now have the prediction on the left. You can see faster RCNN, prediction RTDTR, and YOLO version on 11. You can open any class. You can just show how the prediction, for example, faster RCNN. You can see how the model is performing with that specific. You can do it as well with other classes, RTDTR here, for example, YOLO. You can start to compare models. Not only we are gonna do it directly from like the metrics, super important, but as well in visual. Like you can see that the model sometimes RDTR could work with a small example. How you can see that you can apply some filtering in your data to see some specific example like image of animals, and you can see the model, or yeah, you can start to understand more your data. You can remove the ground truth. You can see how YOLO is working in this specific case. In this one as well, RDTR, for example, compared with YOLO, simple to see here in this specific plate. I think this is carrots. Yeah, carrots. You can see that YOLO is not detecting, it's detecting like the full one, but RTDTR, it's detecting like a small kind of objects in the image. That showed me that maybe RDTR could work better with a small um, objects. Faster RCNN compared to that one, it's detecting some of them. But yeah, this is more like a visual approach to understand what is happening in your data. And actually, you can create a video where you have the three ones, and that likes in the research when you can see, okay, my model is doing this. You can see the classes and the people visually. You can download this image. You can download this screen, and you can start to get all of these metrics directly. I think that could be valuable in the paper as well. Cool. Let's continue. We hope because we have, I think, almost 20 minutes more, and I think the most exciting part is at the end. But yeah, we load the data. Now we would like to perform some evaluations. As I showed you before, one line of code can help you to evaluate the detections. If you have a specific metrics that you want to include, FiftyOne has operators that you can use to add your specific metric and run it with all the code. Like you are creating a new metric. Let's say like you combine three metrics and you create your own metric because this is going to be more accuracy, more like better. You can create an operator with this metric, and then everyone in the FiftyOne ecosystem is going to be able to use your metric as a base and evaluate the data set with just one click. Let me just run here. This is some installations. Oh, I think I forget to run something. Oh, small detail. I think I use faster RCNN, prediction faster RCNN. Let me just move it here. I would like to use prediction faster RCNN. Cool. Now we are having the evaluations. Everything is running. You can, as I said before, evaluate based on classes. Nice. And you can do ablation studies. You can, this is a small script, super simple. You can define which model would you like to have in the ablation studies. You can define the keys of this model. What is the ground truth? In this case, if you have the ground truth, you can apply the evaluate detections for each of the models. You can get the metrics as we did before. You can, I just printed here for show the metrics. And then you can put this in a data frame with accuracy, precision, recall. Then you can use a latex function from pandas that is to latex, and you can create a table in latex that then you can just copy this table. Oh, same mistake that before. Let me just change here. It's prediction faster RTN. And then you can have here is performing the evaluation of the data set. It's a small data set, that's why it's so fast, but if you have a bigger one, it's going to take more time, but I think it's going to be the same idea. You can now have your data set, you can put it in overleaf and like just have this ablation study. Of course, there are more things that you have to do, and sometimes you have to do a training, but if you do the training, you can just load the model and do all of this inference. FiftyOne is not focused like in the training step. FiftyOne is more focused in how you can make inference in your data, how you can understand your data, how you can take advantage of that. But this is how the table, like the final table, I just put it in overleaf and I just put it here. And then you can like start to compare multiple smaller. You can find some bias in your data in a simple way. And of course, performance ablation studies in a simple format. Like you can define the other metrics that you want if you want, but this is like a general idea of the ablation study that you can start to perform. This is another graph that it's from Paula that show that you can put it as well. This in the interface, you can like create all the metrics in one place. You can start to change and start to see on the right what is happening. Like you can put on the right and see what is happening on the left. You can create confusion matrices. You can do everything. You can start to click in the classes and it's updating in the other side. Like the idea of make the inference and the evaluation in just one place is because if you see how is the performance of your model directly in your data, you can actually find things that can help you to increase the accuracy of the model. Cool. Is there any question? We are in the last part. I think it's going to be like 15 minutes. That I think it's the most nice one, because here I believe that you can import your own models. That is the advanced integration. It's like by researchers for researchers. 51 has something. Yes. Oh, sorry. Oh, thank you. I didn't check the chat. Yes, yeah, we have as well. Yeah, it's a really good point. Thank you for the question. Yeah, we have as well resources with NLP. I have one example where I am, let me just go in here. I didn't mention about NLP, but yes, we have. We have as well that this is something interesting. We integrate Harpreet, one of the developers of FiftyOne, integrate Janus Pro, and he is able to perform some specific, in this case, like kind of multimodal task where you can use a specific DeepSeek model and ask some question in your data and get some data. But as well, if you have text and you need to, I don't know, do like captioning, you have to have some the captioning. Usually, FiftyOne is more like visual. It's more like visual, but we have some tools that can help you to integrate some NLP models. But yeah, I think FiftyOne is more focused in a visual. But yeah, as I said before, you can integrate any model. If you have, for example, OCR that you need to extract from the image, or it depends what specific task you want to do as a natural language processing. Like if you want to do more like just the normal pipeline of NLP, or if you want to more perform specific tasks that contain text. If it's contain text with image, you can do everything here as this specific plugin. But yeah, it's going to depend on the task. If you have a specific one, we can discuss more about this one, that one. But yeah, it's a really good question. Thank you, thank you for asking. Saidal, yeah, Jafai. Nice. I like when the people make questions. uh, cool. like last part, we still have like 20 minutes, more or less 15 minutes. I think we start at 15. I would like to show you something that I feel that it's gonna help you a lot, and it's gonna help the community. At the beginning, I start saying that we have to make our research more visible for the people. Big conference is one of the best way to do it, but sometimes it's hard to go there, and sometimes it doesn't have the visibility that you expect. Open source projects, and that's like the first thing that I would like to say, data-centric AI is important. We should focus in data to improve models as well and to improve results. The second one is we have to increase the visibility, and open source projects like FiftyOne, like Hugging Face as well, like all of these kind of open source communities can help you to make more accessible your research. We usually spend months or years working in a specific research, and the idea is not just leave it there and with no citation. The idea is that could be accessible to everyone. That is why FiftyOne has these plugins. This plugin option allow you to integrate your model. It's super simple to do. That is why at the end I'm gonna leave a QR code. If you want to integrate your model, you can do it there. I'm gonna help you to do it, and like in a couple of days we're gonna be able to make that everyone can use it. It's going to be connected to your GitHub. That is why the people is going to go as well to your GitHub code to archive to paper if your paper is in a specific journal or in a specific conference. Everything is going to be connected, and the community is going to start to use that. Uh, for install the new plugin, I decided to bring three main plugins. I was trying to do a four plugin, but I wasn't like I didn't finish. I'm gonna show you that, but it's from a research of your lab that is OpenTAT. Super cool to make it available here. It's going to be super nice if the researchers of OpenTAT are here. Super good. Check the option to make it as well part of the plugin of FiftyOne. But the first one that I want to show you, it's maybe you know this paper. It's interpreting clip with the sparse linear concept and veins. This paper I think was 2024. Uh, and the main idea is how we can like change the normal clip and veins in something more human interpretable. And the way that they do it was with decomposition representation. Like you can take one image, you can apply clip, and you can start to get all the classes that has this image. And at the end, if you have each of the classes as individual, you finally create the final image. But if you have all these small classes, you can understand what is happening in your image. Actually, you can find bias. For example, if you say class of cats, and suddenly you have in your decomposition, you have cats, you have humans, you have spoons, you have broccoli, like all of these other classes that could be in an image are noisy because it's the background that or the additional objects that are in the image. All of these kind of things could be more interpretable if we apply this model. A really good research, super interesting if you want to explore it, is from Harvard. Uh, and we just integrate it. Let me just show you how simple it is and how the people could do it. Uh, you have to create a GitHub. In this case, I did this one. Wasn't the authors the one that do it, but usually the authors can do this. And you just have to this is like the formal GitHub. You have to define here the model that you are using. Of course, the main core of the research or the function has to be directly here. For example, you have a GitHub. We can connect all of these kind of things. Like explain how to create a plugin. It's simple, but I think we can do it in another section. For now, I would like to show you like you can download the plugin for everyone that want to try a sparse concept of that specific paper. You just have to download the plugin. There are some requirements. They use OpenClipTorch. They use two main options. One was OpenClipTorch, and in this case, we are going to use OpenClipTorch. And then you have to do the operator. In this case, we are going to run the operator, the plugin that I showed you before has a specific operator that is decompose core concepts. I define what is the data set. I define the hyperparameters, for example, the model that I would like to run, the vocabulary that we want to run, the size of this vocabulary, and other kind of parameters directly, like what is the top K prediction or the top K decompositions objects that are in the image by size and other kind of metrics. Just, I think I run the other one. Just importing, in this case, I'm gonna do it with Quickstar. I just change the name to decompose results. And I just put 100 examples to make it fast to run. And yeah, as I said before, I run the operator here. Just some tips. In this case, it's running fast. It's done. It's gonna go here. Let me just change the data set. Now we have decompose results. Decompose results, yes. And similar data set, it's loading here. Now you can go and we have the panels. You can open a new panel clicking in the right plus here, and you can open the concept decomposition. And we have an issue. Traditional things happen. Let me see what happened. Oh, I think it's loading. Oh yeah, it's still loading. Sorry. It's 64, 96, 100%. I think now it should work. Let's see. Yeah, now it's working. Now you have your data set on the left. You have this tool working for researchers on the right. It's the same core algorithm that they create, but we can start to see interesting things. For example, this is the composition of the full data set. In this case, we can see that there are multiple scats, and actually you can see that a little bit there are multiple scats here in this kind of samples. There are something called tabby, several, receive, state. This is, if you need to understand your data, what is the main object that describes your data, you can see it here as a concept. But as well, you can apply some filter. You can go here in your predictions, and you can say, okay, let me see, for example, what is, when I click banana and I have example of banana, what actually it's in a picture of a banana. And actually I can see that there are broccoli, like why in my model, if I want to see bananas, why this broccoli? It could be because your data set, when they take the pictures, there was bananas and broccolis, and that is why we have multiple broccolis in this specific class. And look at banana, it's almost here. It's in one of the latest, it's like number 10, I think. But before that, there is a steak, breakfast. As you can see, there are in the pictures of bananas, there are other kind of objects that can affect your model. And actually, these researchers, the thing that do is, okay, if you don't want to have these classes, and we are able to decompose your image in classes, now you can remove the broccoli, the steak, the breakfast, and just leave the banana as the correct representation. Uh, you can change the class. You can just change it to another one. Let's say a boat, yeah, charter. Okay, that makes sense. Sailing is snorkeling, Norway, underway. Like this is the concept that describe this specific class. Uh, you can remove all the filters. You can just go this picture, a traditional picture, the professor, and the picture of the professor. You can see the professor. It's not a professor actually. It's just a person with smoking. But the thing that more described is a professor, a doctor, the ties, Steven is a class, myself, comedian, attorney. Like these kind of are decomposing. It's the way that this image is the decomposition of like object that we are getting from this image. And you can do it with multiple image as well. They in the paper they talk about superior correlation discovery, and actually you can put comedian and you can see what describe a comedian in our data set. For a comedian in our data set represent a person with a T. Like this is a comedian for our data set, and you're gonna start to find bias. It's like more a human under like human it's more explainable for a human, and I think that makes useful. Very good research. I believe that many people can use that. And the key here is that with a couple of configuration, we're able to put amazing research in FiftyOne, and everyone now can use it. And this is the main idea that I want to bring here, how you can put your research or the thing that you are working on and put it in accessible to everyone to use it in FiftyOne. I bring another two, super quick in these last 10 minutes. The first one is BLM efficiency. Here I was trying to, I tried to find paper. This is from, I think it's Meta. Yeah, Meta, Toronto, UC Los Angeles, and Datalogy AI. And this paper is the idea of alignment. You have your captioning, you want to actually prune in your data set to have the captioning that are more aligned to a specific case. You can train a small model that is super good in classes because you fine tuning in a small classes, and then you can run this model with your full data set, and you can see how aligned is the captioning that you have in your data set with your model. And you can create a score and use that score to check if your model is performing good or is performing bad, and remove the classes that maybe the score is not too high, and still getting good results. Like removing image, cleaning your data set, but still getting good results. And in this case, I would like to show you a different way to do it. Yeah, this is going to be simple. It's going to download the BLM. We have some specific function that we need sentence transformers and the clip paper, and we can run the BLM function here. Let me just run this in this. Here I am loading a data set that is GPT-4 vision caption, but you can load any data set. That is the interesting thing. Yeah, you can connect anything, like all the data sets here. And let me just open FiftyOne, go to the new data set that is Lion. And this is a different way. If you prefer to do it more from interface, you can go here. You can go here is SIF dataset pruning. You can define what we would like to run. In this case, blip image captioning base. You can define what text or captioning you want to take. In this case, it's going to be the caption. This is part of the paper. They integrate these medium phrases or common phrases to be masked, and you can add more if you want. But here we have an image of, or photo of, picture of. There is other metadata that you can define directly from the paper, and you can run this inference in your code. And now you are going to have all the amazing research that these people do in your data set, and take advantage of this captioning alignment. If you are working in a new state-of-the-art data set and you have thousands, millions of captioning, and you want to test multiple models, you can load your data set here. You can apply this inference, and you can validate that the model is aligned, and maybe clean a little bit the data set, or if everything is good, or maybe find some bias in the data set. Depends what you're looking for. And now we have the new SIF score. You can see here. You can see the generated captioning, a kitchen with appearance of a wooden cabinet. This was creating for the model, and this is the traditional captioning. It creates multiple possible captioning. It starts to compare and to see if it's aligned to the original captioning. And then I can open it here as well if you want to see it bigger. But yeah, you can see all the classes, and you can see if it's aligned or not. Here, for example, no. Here you have this, and the caption is say a street scene with construction scaffolding. Very in super long. Maybe we can use the short captioning. Construction scaffolding, 3 individual shopping, and the algorithms with small models say a group of people walking down the street in front of a store. And actually, you can align this with the captioning and see if it's good or not. What is the maybe thing that we can improve here? If the model that you are using for captioning and for compare is not really good, of course, the numbers of your captioning could be better. That is why the numbers are going to be low. That is something that you can handle if you use other models. And yeah, that's going to be more like a next step for the researchers. Just to start to conclude, we can do it as well with Janus. Janus, you know, this paper from this DeepSeek, and in this case, this plugin was created from Harpreet, and here he can make some questions, and I don't know what is not loading. Yeah, you can ask any question to your data set, and in the same idea, the operators is going to run in each of the examples. You can get the inference, you can visualize the inference. In this one, he used a data set of memes, and he asked what is the text on this meme, like more like an OCR. But you can do other kind of tasks if you want, like why this is funny, or or like this is just an example, but you can integrate Janus Pro as a plugin and use it with all the communities of FiftyOne. And I was expecting to do, as I said before, if the researchers of OpenDat are here, I was expecting to do like this unified workflow for training, inference with all of this amount of data set that you have, and all of these kind of thing could be super nice to integrate directly to FiftyOne, where the people can training in your GitHub, but then run the inference here, make the ablation study here, have like an interface, and it's going to be as simple as integrate this as a plugin and can have more accessible and visibility. If you are interested in the author of this paper to do it as a plugin, just let me know and we can work on that. And of course, help more people to like know your research. I don't know if is there any questions so far. We are almost on time, just to wrapping up. Yeah, we are working actually with integrating more medical stuff. Right now, we have some ways like, let's call it like tricky things to make it work and visualize all the results of the segmentation of 3D images. Uh, just for context, like the image is not like traditional we saw it. It's like a multiple light of image. It's different the way that you load it. We are working right now in one approach that is, I don't know if you know Karen OHIF. This it's a GitHub really useful to visualize all the segmentation of medical image. OHIF is the name. I think I can show you. I was working, and I think this could be interesting to keep working on. I was working on integrate this. Uh, Let me open it. OHIF. OHIF. These OHIF tools as a plugin to be able to. This is too small, too big. To be able to have like this tool to load. You can load your data. You can like put it there. Like the segmentation, right now it's just the image, but you can as well add the segmentation because we are integrating a tool to FiftyOne. But why, to summarize the answer, we are working on this, and every day we are trying to integrate more functions. I think Paula and Harpreet and Dan are working as well in uh, papers that are working with medical images like MedGema and others to make more accessible medical stuff in FiftyOne. Right now, it's like we have to do a small trickies, but I think we can do it if you are interested to integrate this kind of type of images in FiftyOne. Summarize, yes. Yes, but we need to do some kind of twist. Just to wrapping up, and thank you so much for the question. I have just summarized Voxel 51. They are the leads of the lead maintainers of the open source 51 tools. I think most important one, we can do many things together, like promotional co-branded events, technical support for setup of content blogs or social media amplification, access to open source tools, workshop and materials. If you want to do a hackathon, we can help with that, with technical support, guest lecture or demos from our team as well. And the most important one, I think right now, and thanks for your question, it's we would like to enhance research and, for example, integrate your model with generative AI or integrate a specific kind of new research that you want to do it. It's possible if you can take a picture of this QR code. The main idea is you are going to have a small form, and if you put that you want to integrate any model, the team of FiftyOne can contact you. I can have like a small call to help you to create this plugin and make it as simple as possible, and of course help to increase the visibility of your research. It's super simple to do. Sometimes all the code that you see it like that could be confusing, but actually it's super simple to do, and we can do it together. That is why if you are interested to do like a collaboration, like put your research here, put your data set here, we can do it, and you have to scan this code. And as I said before, all of these slides are going to be available. I'm going to share with Karen and Carlos. And FiftyOne has more than 3 million installs. It's growing super fast. The community is more than 22,000 members in multiple uh, places around the world. That is why it's a really good place to start to share your research. Uh, some important things that are going to be available in the slides. And just thank you everyone to be here. Thank you for the questions. Thank you, Paula, for support with all of this creation, and of course, Karen and Carlos for inviting me. And yeah, if there is any question, I am gonna be available, and if not, thank you. Yeah.